Hi everyone, this is the next vlog in my series of videos about me making a really cheap micro budget film. Basically the idea is making a film as cheap as possible. So the main consideration at the moment was getting a camera, and I made a video about the different cameras and options that you have for shooting low budget, as low budget as possible, micro budget, and this is the one I mentioned, but I'm just going to talk about it a little bit in a little bit more detail. So it's a high 8 camera. It uses these high 8 tapes, which are still made and quite cheap. I think you can pick up like a pack of 6 or 7 for like £10, and I think depending on the type of tape, they've got a recording time of like 90 minutes, so really good value. It's an older format. It's the format that came before mini DV, so like I said in another video, if I can get my film looking good on this, you'll probably be using a mini DV camera like I do for a lot of other stuff that I do with Allen's XM2. But this, if I can get this looking good, then if you're using a mini DV camcorder, it should look much better for you because your image quality should be better. Okay, so let's take a look at the camera then. So it's made by Samsung, and it has got a manual focus, which I said before is extremely important, allowing you to focus on different objects in the foreground, background, whatever you want to do, which is really cool. It's got a bunch of digital effects, but we won't bother using them because they're quite lame, except for there's a cinema effect and a black and white effect, which I suppose would be handy if you couldn't be bothered doing anything like that in post-production. Like I said before, one of the problems with the camera is that it doesn't have manual exposure, but the reason that I'm still going to use it is that it's got the settings that it's got, the automated settings for different types of exposure are really good. So it should be okay as long as I'm careful. The exposure is just basically, you know, for those that don't know or haven't watched my other videos, it's just basically about how wide the lens, take the lens cap off here, how wide the lens opens up to let in light, depending on your situation, and that is very important. So if you can get a camera that's got auto exposure on it, fair enough, but if you can push the boat out and get one that's got manual exposure, then great. It only has a black and white viewfinder, and if we look here, I've already broken the eyepiece. There we go. Ta-da! That comes off. It's meant to come off because you can use different ones, but when I took it off, one of the times I managed to break a little bit here, but excuse me while I fix this, but it locks right on, no bother, and it's pretty sturdy once it's locked on, so it's still okay. It uses these batteries. They're not that small, but you could easily carry it. I'm not going to bother trying to take that off one hand. You could easily try and get, you could carry a few of these batteries around with you. It's got a good optical zoom on it. That's another thing that we needed to talk about. Digital zoom, bad. Optical zoom, good. Now it does have a digital zoom on it, but you can turn that off, and it's still got an optical zoom of up to about, I think it's 40 times. The reason that digital zoom is bad is because it just takes the image and then uses a chip on the inside the camera to try and highlight that area on the screen. You want something that does it optically, which is just changing the the lens so that you can zoom in on something, and that's what this has got. So yeah, it's a really pretty great camera for the price, and it's still better than a lot of the solid state cameras that you buy for twice the price. I mean, that's what I was saying. I've got like a Camilio Pro HD, where have I put it, over here, that I talked about before, and it films in HD, and but the picture quality is still better on this old Hi8 camera. So you can pick these up. So yeah, look for manual focus, that's the main thing. Maybe exposure settings, and just check out the there's also lux, which will tell you how good it is in low light. Low light, unfortunately, for some cameras you might think that it means, oh, when it's really dark, but for some cameras that just means inside. So, but let us say across the board it's really good. Now, what I would like to say is there's one other problem with these types of cameras, certainly the older Hi8 cameras. How do you hook this up to this? How do you hook this up to a computer? Well, there's a few different ways to do it. If you happen to have a DVD recorder or an HDD recorder for television, you can pass your camera through it if you're lucky enough and record straight onto that, and then you should be able to hook up that straight into your computer. Now, that's all fine and dandy, but if you don't have that, they're quite expensive, those ones. So the cheapest way to do it is to actually get a TV tuner card. Now, I got an old Win TV card for £10, and it's brilliant. I had to install it myself. I had to open up my computer and slot it in to one of the PCI slots in my computer, and basically all it's got at the back is it can take one of these phono. Oh no, that's not it. One of these AV out fittings, and it's great. Now, it's not perfect. The quality's not perfect, but really well good enough to edit on and to capture images from. So so basically you're talking about £60 collectively between this and the TV tuner card for my computer. There is another way to do it if you don't want to open up your computer and put in an old Win TV card, and that is, or TV tuner card, and that is that there are USB or FireWire devices which convert this analog signal into a digital signal for you, and it'll go straight into your computer. These, well, good ones can be a little pricey, maybe £40–50. So I mean, I went with the big, the mantra of as cheap as possible. I went for the micro budget option, which was a £10 old TV tuner card. So this is what we're going to be working with, and if this breaks, I do have this other Hi8 camera over here which isn't quite as good, but I will be filming on the Hi8 format, and like I say, you'll probably be filming on a better format than me, so I can get this to look good. Your mini DV movies or solid state movies should look much better than mine. And that's really all I wanted to say about this camera. So now all I need to do is I need to get on to writing my script. Oh yeah, God, I've got 20 seconds left on this video. External microphone, very handy. Put in a microphone to it, and you can hook up your actors if you've got the money or resources to do that. Okay, so on to the next video.